Welcome to Attenuation, a podcast where two friends come together to drink beer, discover brewing history, and delve into the latest trends in the ever-evolving world of craft beer. From hoppy IPAs to rich stouts, we are your companions on this hop-forward journey. If you enjoy your time with us, we invite you to become a weekly listener and subscribe to the podcast. And now, grab a pint, sit back, and enjoy this episode of Attenuation, a beer podcast.
Hello, and welcome to episode 104 of Attenuation, a beer podcast. My name is Jason, and I'm joined by my best friend since 8th grade, Steven.
Hello.
You got thrown off, too.
I was so excited, I forgot what to say. Hello.
That's your line. We have to go back to the script.
We might. It's been a while.
Yeah, it's been a while since we recorded.
I can't believe that when you said 104 for the episode, it was like, wow, that's crazy. It's crazy that
We've done a lot of episodes, Steven.
We have a whole library.
Back catalog. Yeah, so Steven we're both a little bit off because we're using a new recording setup. So we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, so hopefully maybe you'll see a little bit more video of us. We're going to try some new things. I'm trying some new things on the Instagram, if you have not noticed. A lot of reels going on.
Yeah, I love the new reels. The reels are awesome. I want to try to do one. I want to mimic your style. I got to get the right angle and lighting and all that stuff. You just seem to have a perfect spot.
I should put a mark on my counter or something.
Oh.
With tape, so that I set the phone up, set my camera up the same every time.
No, that makes
because
sense.
I always have to do a test video where I walk in front of the camera and then I walk back and go, oh man, you can see my face. Because I try to do it where you can't see my head. I don't know why I do that, because it's not like my face isn't on the Instagram.
Yeah.
Other times, but
no, there's something about I like that your head is out of frame. I don't know why.
I don't know why.
It just draws your attention to the beer more. Because when your face is there, on the first couple you did, then I end up looking at your face. But when your face is not there, then I just zero in on the beer and I like watching it pour. I don't know, it's super cool. The can. You know what it is? It's on the, if you're looking through the Tavor app where you see something. See, Tavor, dude, this is the idea. You gotta sell it to Tavor. They always have that photo perfect picture of the beer, but what if instead of a picture it was just exactly what you do, a video of it being poured? I don't know, I feel like I really get to see exactly what the beer is like when you do those reels.
It's like the crumble cookie menu. Have you ever seen the crumble cookie menu?
Yeah, it's like a video.
You open up the app, it's yeah,
exactly. It's the next level.
And speaking of pouring beers, I upload those videos on Instagram, but I also upload them to TikTok now.
Okay.
And I got absolutely roasted for the Guinness because it was just a bottle pour. It wasn't the nitro widget thing.
With the marble.
Where you
We're just supposed to do it upside down.
Yeah, you do you flip it up a couple times, and then when you pour it, you just pour it straight into the can, from the top. Yeah, and I just did sort of a regular pour because it was just a bottle of Guinness. That's all I had at the store. So, but anyway, I think because TikTok is such an international audience that a lot of people on there, are from Ireland, and this dude was like, "It's not a Guinness." Yeah. I'm like, well, it is a Guinness. Guinness does make this beer in a bottle, so apparently you can drink it this way. But it was pretty funny.
That is awesome.
I appreciated the engagement,
even if it was hate. Yeah. You're doing this wrong. Actually, you're doing this wrong.
We did come to an agreement. I was like, I appreciate passionate beer people.
Yeah.
So.
Well, that's fun.
But no, it's been fun to try new things on the Instagram and feed the algorithm with reels. Of course,
it wants reels. That's the thing.
It wants reels.
But yeah, it's fun. No, I like them. I actually get excited when I see them on there. I'm like, oh, what's he thinking? That's a good sign, Steven.
Well, the problem too is that when I do one, I have to make it a thing. Mm-hmm. It's worse. It's worse than I have to take a picture of every beer I drink.
Oh yeah.
Now, not only do I have
write
to
make
a video, but I have to write a script, and it has to be funny or witty or interesting or informative or something.
Well, I'm your number one fan on those because
Well, I appreciate. You probably are my only fan.
No, they always are like interesting, or like there's a fact in there or something. Yeah, I like them. I'm learning a lot, Steven. Well,
that's my newest thing. And one of the things too is like we don't get to record as much, and so I do try to like make it kind of an extension of the podcast, right?
That makes
like
sense.
There's no new episodes. They at least have something still that's like kind of informative or interesting. So
we're gonna try to record more. We're going back to every 2 weeks if possible. My child sleeps now. We'll see. She's gonna wake up like in the middle of this episode. But
you've jinxed it now.
I know. This is the true test.
My kids might wake up too. So
you can tell them to go back to sleep.
I just have one that pees like 4 times throughout the night. So
oh, really?
Smallest bladder in the world.
So you're saying it never ends?
Never ends.
My children will never sleep tonight. Yeah. No matter how old they get. We haven't even introduced a topic, Steven. We're like we're 7 minutes in. Today we're going to fail to talk about biotransformation.
Yeah.
Because that's one of the hot new topics. Well, I feel like within the last 5 years of beer.
Definitely, yeah. So and like not only with the Hazy IPA trend, which is like fully entrenched now in the craft beer world, but innovation in that space, right?
Totally.
So interesting what they're doing there.
All right. Well, before we get to any of that, we have to do the best part of the podcast, at least for us, and that's the drinking beer segment. Now, are we going to put the video?
For the listener, I don't know if they like listening to us drink beer, but we like it.
It's basically
our podcast.
It's the reason we do the podcast. This is drink beer. The way it works is I introduce my beer, give nose notes. Steven does the same, and then we cheers and give tasting notes. So today this is probably my ultimate white whale. Like, there's no reason I should have this beer. I was looking into trying just to buy the bottle, but I'm drinking from 2017. This is an old beer. Hopefully it's still good. This is a joint project between Perennial Artisan Ales and Fremont. So early on, I think in episode 1 or 2, I make a joke that eventually you get to the point where the only thing that excites you in beer is barrel-aged unicorn blood. Well, this is not barrel-aged unicorn blood, but it's very close. It's barrel-aged unicorn tears. So I
guess
honestly,
we'll settle for that.
Dude, So, anyways, how I got this is
collecting these is less harmful to the unicorn. Than the
unicorn
blood.
The unicorn doesn't have to give up its blood; it just has to be sad. But yeah, the bottle is amazing. They put the wax has glitter in it, which is annoying. It's getting on my hands. But I just love the art. I love everything about it, and I just want to put this up on my shelf above my desk and say, "There's my barrel-aged unicorn tears." So it's an Imperial oatmeal milk stout with cherries that was aged in bourbon barrels, and it popped up on Tavour. And they said apparently they found like a couple cases in the back. They were like reorganizing. And there's
it helps too that like it's cherry stout, like
it's an oatmeal stout.
It's like made for you.
Yeah, it's also that's like another reason I always wanted it is because like it's also like a beer I would love. Cherry. Well, cherries are my favorite adjuncts, and it's bourbon barrel aged oatmeal stout. So now. It's funny because it kind of goes against my recent revelations that you should drink these adjuncted stouts faster. So I don't know if all the cherries have fallen off by now, but
yeah, I don't know. I had a 10-year-old Pumpkinator from St. Arnold at the beer fest, and it was pretty good.
Really? Okay, so we'll see if there's still cherry in here. But honestly, I really just wanted this bottle ever since I knew it existed. So yeah, like there's so much glitter.
While you tried to open that. It sounds like you got it.
Yeah,
okay.
Dip it in there. Yeah, look how much glitter is on the cap.
I was going to say, I have a really good glitter story. But
glitter. You can tell a glitter story while I'm...
Well, we had this playroom in our old house that was pink. Well, we were having it painted pink. While the painters were there, we were like, hey, is there a way to... Because I have 2 girls, so is there a way to put glitter on the wall or glitter in the paint, and have pink glittery walls? And he was like, I don't know. If you just put the glitter into the paint and mix it up, glitter just gets coated in paint.
And then you can't see it.
And so it was like, or do you do like a second clear coat over the pink that has glitter in it? What do you do? And they finally landed on just taking handfuls of glitter and just sort of like blowing it onto the wall, like while the paint was wet,
drying,
and just kind of scattering it. It was while it was drying. But it was funny because one of the painters was like, "Well, I'm gonna go home and have all this glitter on me, and I'm gonna have to try and explain to my wife why I have glitter all over
I was not where you think I was. Yeah.
I was just painting a little girl's room, I promise.
Wait, yeah, you should have taken a picture of the walls or something.
Yeah, it was fun.
That is really funny. It's a good glitter story. So it poured like almost completely flat. It's very dark. And near the edge, it looks a little red, so maybe that's the cherry. Bourbon. Oh, I think there's still cherry in here, Steven. Getting like cherry cough syrup. Like that booze note is kind of intermingling with the cherry. I'm getting a little like vanilla and then some dark roast, but yeah, it just kind of smells like chocolate, bourbon, and maybe like cherry cough syrup. So we'll see. What are you drinking today, sir?
All right, so I have 2 beers, a little side by side here.
Oh, you're doing side by side. Nice.
So I was recently in Nashville, and I went to what I would say is probably the best brewery in Tennessee, which is Bearded Iris. They definitely have like all their beers score really well as far as Tennessee beers go. But I was able to go in there, tried a couple beers there, and then I grabbed these other 2 that I have not tried yet.
Oh, cool.
They are both double IPAs, both 8.2%. One is Homestyle, double Homestyle. So Homestyle is their flagship IPA. This is double Homestyle. Homestyle is an all mosaic hopped hazy IPA. So this is just more, so the double IPA version, but still all mosaic.
Okay.
Attention Please is the other one. I believe it is Citra and Mosaic, if I remember right.
Okay.
So all 3 versions, they have a single, double, and triple version of Homestyle.
Oh, wow.
They all rank really well.
So you're trying the double. You have the double in the can.
Yeah. This is the Attention Please.
Oh, okay.
Nice.
Ooh, beautiful
orange.
color.
Not the haziest beer I've ever seen. And the double Homestyle actually is not as hazy either. It's a little clearer. Huge head on it. Very foamy. Okay, so let me try this Attention Please. Okay, tons of pineapple on this one. Mango, really sweet orange, like a tangerine orange. Very tropical. That is all fruit. I'm not even like getting like any pine or dank notes off of that. And then that's the opposite of this. So this, you can tell the Citra is coming through on that one. On this one, it's much more grassy.
Okay.
A grassy, dank, like sort of blueberry melon notes coming on the nose there. Yeah, much more vegetal. That's like all tropical Homestyle. A lot. And I will say the single Homestyle was dank enough, so this should be this should be a amped up version of that.
All right, interesting. I'm eager to hear your impressions.
All right, cheers.
Okay, it's good. It's a very Jason beer. It's I wish I still made it, to be honest, because I would drink this again. It's sweet, but it rides the border of like not too sweet. But what I really like about it is there's a lot of different cherry notes in here. So like on entrance, I get chocolate, sweet cherry, and vanilla. And then in the development, it is 12.9%. So you get a little booze in the middle, but it kind of mixes with the bourbon and the cherry. A little bit like it tastes almost like a cocktail, kind of in the middle, or like not in a bad way, but like cherry cough syrup. And then the finish is like vanilla and kind of like a cherry cordial. So I feel like you kind of have these notes of like chocolate, bourbon, cherry, and vanilla all kind of interplaying with each other throughout the whole experience. It's really good. It's thin, like the mouth feels quite thin. It's like I don't really.
I was gonna say that.
I don't love that.
That long aging always thins it out. It always, it's a little weird.
So it's a little. I think that's throwing it off a little bit for me. If this was only 2 years old instead of 7. I think I'd like it a lot more. But it's good. It's solid. I would love if they made it again or something similar. Just because I don't know, cherry adjuncted bourbon barrel aged stout is like one of my favorite things. So yeah, thumbs up for sure. How are your beers?
Thumbs up, and you would drink again.
Yeah, I'd drink it again. If they made it again, I'd definitely buy a bottle or a case.
Okay. Cool. Okay. Super interesting side by side here. So the Attention Please it's the Citra and Mosaic one. So definitely more dank and grassy in the flavor profile and the tasting profile, but in a sweet way. So definitely sweetened with orange notes, mango notes, pineapple notes. For sure. So a lot of vegetal flavors there, but with a very sweet finish, very juicy finish. And then the double Homestyle, which is all mosaic, it finishes much drier. I mean, it is very dry. It's a thinner mouthfeel. It's somewhat tropical, but in a much more subdued way. It's more of that like vegetal, grassy, dank, maybe a little bit of like citrus rind, and then kind of floral, like sort of a floral rose flavor there to it. So, but much drier. I mean, it does not finish nearly as sweet as the Attention Please does. So yeah, I like both of them. I mean, I know I'm a psychopathic bitter lover, but I do kind of like this sweeter Attention Please.
Okay,
but
interesting.
I'm also a Citra hop simp, so
Citra's a pretty good hop.
So I think Mosaic's not really one of my favorite hops.
Gotcha.
I think Mosaic is a nice like combination hop. I think it's just a little bit too vegetal and floral for me. I kind of like some of those tropical flavors to come in there a little bit.
Gotcha.
In the hazy setting,
That makes sense.
But both are good. I can see why the whole Homestyle series rates really well. But Attention Please, very good. It's very good.
Okay.
So that's the one I would like want to drink again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, cool. If I ever get out to Tennessee,
Randomly.
yeah. Well, who knows? That you described the tribute to sound kind of fun, so maybe we'll take the family when she's like 10 years from now.
It's an interesting place, for sure.
So, all right, cool. So a set of good beers today. So our next segment is postscripts, where we fix things from previous episodes. I don't think we have any.
No, I didn't write
any down. So we're doing great.
Okay, that's good. Yeah, look at that.
Beer news. I think we have a ton of beer news.
Yeah, we got some good stuff. Let's see. So this was kind of a funny one because I like to sort of report on beer awards.
Yeah, it's fun.
Big beer competitions, and I don't know if this is like the first time they've done this or not, but they did these Untapped.
So. I think they've done it before.
They've done them before?
I think so.
They're called the Untapped Community Awards. And again, sometimes it's like things just come up and I'm like, is this the first time or am I just like now aware of it? So but yeah, they have these Untapped Community Awards, and basically they break them up by region. So like by state, by country. I mean, it's an international thing, and it's going off of Untapped reviews and ratings. Yeah, rating like best beers of this style in this state or whatever. And what's funny is that like half of my Instagram is like people making fun of this thing, because in general we kind of make fun of Untapped, how some of the reviews are just stupid, and sometimes the ratings don't make sense. People say perfect and then give it like 4 stars. You know what I mean? Like there's a lot of like quirky things about Untapped and the people that are on Untapped, but also like sort of making fun of like breweries that would use it as a marketing tool. And then the other half of Instagram is breweries using it as a marketing tool.
It's like both sides of the coin.
So it's just interesting to like see that going on my feed. But hey, if like it's something you can use as a promotional material for your brewery, and I mean obviously if you're rating that high, it's, and again it's like gonna bias certain breweries,
right?
Places where people go, or a more densely populated area, or it's just like there's a lot of like weird things that go into how many beers of yours are rated on Untapped and how high they're rated. I don't know, but it was super interesting. It was kind of interesting to go over in my area and see
like local
what
stuff
won. And it's a good way to find out about beers I wouldn't necessarily find out about, or breweries that I wouldn't necessarily know about, because there are so many.
Yeah.
It's impossible to keep up. But then, there's like California. I mean, they should almost break it down into like northern and southern or something, because like
they should have regions.
It's too big. It's too big and too many breweries. So that like you look at the list and you think, is that really the best beer in California? I mean, maybe, but it just happens to find its way onto Untapped and do really well.
Yeah.
I don't
know. I do have my hatred of Untapped, some aspects of it, but honestly though, I have found if you scroll long enough, like through a beer, you can usually find someone that gives like a decent review. And then the other thing that I have noticed is like, even though people score so weird on Untapped, it all does kind of average out. So overall ratings are actually not bad. I've started to look at them a little bit more. I've been like using Untapped again because I just like to take a picture of the beer and record my notes. I basically did what I used to do in my notebook. I used to have this really cheesy notebook. But I just record, and honestly I'm so lazy now, Steven, I don't even do the nose notes. I literally just do tasting notes. And then all I really do is tasting notes, and then I put a star or no star. And if it has a star, that means I'll drink it again. And it's really rare that I'll do that. But I find it's just really useful because I'll just think, a lot of times I'll forget what I had. So I'll just jump back into my Untapped and look it up and see if I just literally look, is there a star or not? If there's a star, I'll buy it again. But yeah, I've just been using it a little bit more, and there's some aspects of it that are really cool. Like, and I think like using the local features is kind of fun. I kind of noticed there's that local shop I go to. There's another guy that must go there all the time because you can actually put like where you bought the beer.
Right. Yeah.
I don't do that, but he's putting that mark. And then I notice we're like drinking the same stuff because, you know, I go there like once every other week and I just talk to the guy. I'm like, what did you get that's new? And he says like this and this, and I buy singles of it. And then I'm like, oh, our profiles are like super similar because you can tell we're like drinking at the same bottle shop basically.
That's
so
awesome.
There's some aspects of that are fun. Like, it'd be awesome to like run into that guy at the store and be like, dude, I've seen you on Untapped. We drink all the same beers. But I mean, there's some positive aspects to it too. But I do agree. Like, a little bit of it is just like kind of following hype, and it's like the problem we talked about like on Tap, where like every smoothie sour has like a 4.5 rating.
Yeah, they do extremely well on Untapped.
So it's like in that regard, like in that genre of beer, the ratings are almost worthless because like
I mean, I've had smoothie sours. I've had multiple smoothie sours, all which were rated very, very
like
highly on
4.5s,
Untapped.
yeah.
And the range of like how wonderful they were to how absolute trash they were was pretty incredible, and they were all rated high. So like I can't even trust that.
No.
Like I can almost trust the brewery more now, but that's not always the case either, because I've had some trash ones from breweries that I had really good ones from.
Or that you had good ones from,
Yeah, so I can't always trust that, but there are a few breweries that I can count on reliably for the smoothie sours, and past that, I just don't do it anymore. I will say, I did just buy one on Tavour. Mortalis is one of the few that, like...
Yes.
I've had both good and bad from them, actually, but they came out with this... They have a Hydra series, which is... but they're coming out with this Demi-Hydra series, which is a more, I think, like, filtered version.
Oh, okay.
So it's not quite so... fruit puree dense. It's a little bit more like fruited sour-ish, like more towards that area. So I'm excited for that one. I actually bought that one because I'd like to see the fruited sours go back towards being clearer, you know, like more filtered out. Because I love a fruited sour, but the smoothie sour part where it's just like thick and it's kind of gross.
We just bought one. I just bought a couple for my wife at the shop, and I was gonna pour it for her, and I was rolling the can, and she's never seen me do that. And she's like, "What are you doing?" And I was like, "We're supposed to roll these because it like kind of distributes. It kind of blends everything back together." And then when I've
poured them out where I hadn't done that, and I was like, "Oh, this looks thin," and then like the last third was just all the stuff coming out.
Yeah. So
I was like, "Oh, I should probably mix that up."
We gotta mix them. And dude, honestly, they're not, I don't consider them beer. I mean, we had just had one from Alvarado Street, so it's really good. It's high rated. I know it's good, and it was based on like strawberry daiquiri. It was like, I forgot what it's called, but Sunrise something. And it's like, but it just is a strawberry daiquiri. This is not a beer. Like, this is literally strawberry and banana puree.
Yeah.
And on like some beer base.
Yeah.
But like, this is not beer. I'm literally drinking a strawberry daiquiri. It tastes amazing.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna say it.
So like one of the other breweries that I like their smoothie sours, which are Energy City from Chicago.
Okay.
They were on a news program, you know, some morning show or something.
Yeah.
And they had their base Berliner Weiss.
Yeah, okay. The Berliner Weiss is the base, okay.
And then they had a blender. And they were like, "This is how we make our beers." And they just blend the stuff up, and then they mix it with the Berliner Weiss. And it's like, okay, it's beer technically, but it's really just like hard juice.
Yeah, you're almost using the beer to provide the alcohol, and that's it.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's a very, like, especially with the Berliner base, it's very very neutral, kind of lemony, right? Like, it's gonna
lend itself to just super well to whatever fruit.
work with whatever you do. Yeah. So,
Yeah.
you know, it is what it is. Yeah, there's all those trends, low alcohol beers, sweet stuff.
It was actually really funny. We both listened to now I'm going to forget what it's called.
Craft Beer and Brewing magazine.
Yes.
Yeah.
Such an amazing podcast. It actually inspired the topic for today, which we're not going to get to because we're just catching up. But no, we'll get to it. But they had the one of the experimental brewers from New Belgium. So she was talking about like the Voodoo series. And it's funny because she said she used to be like a persnickety, biased, that's not beer, kind of brewer.
Yeah.
But she just kind of like let that all go. And it was like, well, if this is what people want to drink,
yeah,
we're going to make what people want to drink. Which is, I mean, obviously if you're running a business, you have to do that. I mean, you have two choices. Yeah. You can either just keep doubling down on what you're doing and hope you have enough people that can sustain you, or you have to kind of evolve a little bit. As tastes evolve, you're going to have to evolve with them. So
was it Sam Galagioni from Dogfish Head that said that in that little talk at the beer festival? He's like, hey, you know what? You might have to brew a smoothie sour.
Well, he said...
Like, to keep your doors open or whatever, you know, like...
I think he was the one that said he was talking to his son, and his son was like, craft beer is what old guys drink, because his son was like 20 or whatever, and he was like, hey, watch your mouth, young man. But then he thought about it and was like, oh, yeah, it's true. It might just not be, you know, whatever is popular is not always going to be the same thing, and trends always change. They actually also that interview was great because they also talked about Fat Tire. And it's funny, here's a quick story time with Jason. My dad had a Fat Tire in his fridge. I don't know how old it was, probably a year or two old. And he brought a bunch of beers with him we went to on a vacation last week. So I texted Steven, because we split it. He didn't even know they discontinued it. He was so mad. And I said,
devastating.
Here it is, one of the last Fat Tires on Earth. And Steven just sent me the salute face.
Yeah.
But they said...
That's all you can do. That's all you can do.
And I should look up her name because I'm doing a disservice to her. But because she was really interesting. But she kind of said, yeah, the new version is selling really well with like the younger generation. And she said her dad or her brother, I can't remember, when they announced that they discontinued it because she worked at the brewery, and you know, she's like one of the head brewers or whatever, called her and was like, this is a mistake, like what the hell are you doing, like are you serious, you're gonna get rid of Fat Tire? And she kind of said, hey, when's the last time you bought one?
Yep.
Now I disagree with that. I still love Fat Tire.
Yeah.
When I was drinking that last one, I was like, I can't believe this is gone. But
yeah,
but she's right. I mean, I don't think they were selling. So
yeah, I mean, same thing with Anchor, right? You know, that came up a lot on discussion boards and stuff. Well, when does, you know, everyone's like, this is sad, and it's like, well, when's the last time you bought Anchor Steam?
And that's true because I never bought Anchor Steam. Yeah. Like early on, I liked it, but it was like one of those things.
I mean, I bought their Christmas one when it would come out at the end of every year. But no, what's funny is that the new Fat Tire is actually like it's very similar to 805.
Okay.
From Firestone Walker. You know, it's a honey blonde ale basically.
Yeah.
And I mean, I loved that beer. It was kind of one of my early 805 was kind of one of my early sort of craft beers that I liked. So I mean, I guess it's using the same name for a different beer.
That's honestly my only complaint. Obviously they know what they're doing.
You could just like stop making Fat Tire, but
I think they should have called it Skinny Tire. Call it Skinny Tire. Make it year round, and then like once a year make Fat Tire. Just make a small amount of it,
as a bone. Actually, you might sell more that way.
I think you would, because people would be like,
I want to get the fat. I can only get it a year.
You can only get it like this month of the year. I think it would sell really well. People would wait all year to grab it. They'd grab 1 6-pack maybe, but you'd sell like a large volume in a short window, and then just keep Skinny Tire going. And maybe they'll do that. Like they'll do it, like brew it once in a while. But I don't know. To me, it's using the same name is what I didn't like. More than changing the recipe or whatever.
Yeah.
But again, we read like articles that they had changed the recipe many times. So.
Yeah, exactly.
And like we love Pliny the Younger, right? But they change the recipe for that every year too. So.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Well, you know, same podcast they were talking about Parish Brewing. Ghost in the Machine was like a West Coast style, and now it's hazy. So there you go.
That's true. See, so maybe it's a hypocritical stance. We want things to not change, but
they always do. Okay, I think the big one right now, I won't spend a lot of time on it, but there's some news out of Cigar City. So, Canarchy is the sort of beverage conglomerate that's owned by Monster Energy.
So weird.
Yeah. And Oscar Blues, Cigar City, I can't remember all the others that are a part of that. But Oscar Blues the Austin location closed overnight, basically. Everyone lost their jobs. It was out of the blue. They like wiped social media of that location. It was just crazy.
Yeah, we talked about that.
Yeah, so we talked a little about that. Cigar City in Tampa, Florida got a little bit of the Oscar Blues treatment. They basically fired everyone that was actually mattered there. So brewmasters and, people that actually knew how to make the really good beers. They're gone. They announced something about it being a sort of an R&D location now or whatever, but I don't know. I don't know what's happening there. I don't know if the tap room will stay open or not. Maybe it will, but it's, yeah. I mean, this is what happens. Mm-hmm. The problem is, like, you're gonna see High Ally on the shelf.
Right. They're not gonna stop.
You're gonna see Florida Man still on the shelf, right? So their IPAs, their maybe Madura Brown or whatever will still be on the shelf. Their basic lineup, but Hunapoo, I mean, the brewmaster that created that beer, he's gone. And who knows what will happen to that, or any barrel-aged variants, or any of the like specialty stuff that they made is gone. They're not going to do that stuff anymore.
It's such a huge bummer.
Yeah. So what's interesting is I was talking to Jason in the pre-roll about this Medianoche release from Weldworks in Colorado. They just released this Van Winkle barrel-aged
Medianoche.
Yeah. Crazy. Just a couple really, really, really rare versions of the Medianoche Stout. And they sold tickets to the release, and they sold out in like less than a minute. And so and what was interesting to me was that stuff still exists, because there's some discussion about like hype releases and things like that kind of dying off now in craft beer, but that's still an important part, and there's still the people that will always show up for those things. Pliny the Younger is going on right now. People are showing up for that as much as ever, right? So, and people are traveling very far distances to go to that. So there's still that aspect, but then you have this like aspect of the breweries that are being bought by bigger beverage conglomerates, and they're getting rid of that stuff, right, in favor of the
what they can
mass produced in the grocery store stuff. And that's like the big divide in craft beer right now, I think.
Well, and we talked about the pre-roll, but I just think there's always going to be a space for that. I'm the kind of person that wants that release, you know what I mean? So
yeah,
I'm going to keep buying it as long as people are going to keep brewing it. I'd love to get out to like I want to drink Dark Lord. Like, I'd love to go to Dark Lord Day. Steven, we're going to do that one of these years. But like, I just don't see that stuff going away. Like, the Pliny the Younger release is going on right now, and I think they're doing awesome. Like, I think for the big boys, they're going to be able to keep doing that stuff. And then maybe some of the people that get gobbled up, they'll kind of do away with that. But I feel like there's always going to be a demand for some of those rare once a year releases. It just maybe it was overextended, and we'll see like a contraction of that space, but I just don't see it going anywhere. I could be totally wrong. Let's check back at 2034, but if I had to guess, Pliny the Younger 2034 release, which will be their 30th anniversary, is going to be doing just as good, if not better, than their 20. I think we'll be there probably.
Yeah.
And if I'm wrong, hey, I could be wrong, but I don't know. I don't see that going anywhere. But
yeah, I mean, some legends will never die.
But that is a bummer about Cigar City, because I know the first time we went to Great American Beer Festival, that's the first brewery we went to, because I wanted to try.
I think that's why it stings so much, is because it like means something to me sentimentally. Because I honestly, that first year of the beer festival, I had I knew nothing. Yeah, honestly, I was just kind of following Jason's lead on that, and the way he was just like, we got to go to Cigar City.
Well, I was like,
and we didn't know how much we had to like rush.
Yeah, we had no idea we'd never been there, but I knew they had Jai. So I was like, man, they make two incredible beers. They make the Hunapa Stout, the barrel aged one, and they had some special variants, and they make Jai Alai. Like, we can knock out these 2 incredible beers. So we just, like, booked it there. And you know how I know we made it fast, Steven? We even got swag. We even got,
I still have that beanie.
I gotta find my beanie. I gotta find my beanie, but we got Cigar City beanies. Like, you know, that stuff goes, like, in the first, like, 5 minutes. And we got to go through the line a couple times and try, like... We probably tried their sour too or whatever, because all Steven drank the first year we went was...
that's all I was like, who has a Goza? I want a Goza.
You're like,
that's all I knew I liked. I knew I liked Gozas.
You know what's
fun? I had some really bad Gozas.
You drank every Goza at the Great American Beer Festival. You know what's fun, though? That was the year I discovered Rusty Nail. I discovered it at the Beer Fest.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
You know what's funny is that, like, kind of full circle is that I think it was the Firestone Walker Invitational last year where I drank Hunapoo.
Oh, nice.
And again, like, I got to try it now knowing much more, and I was like, this is so good. I was like, this is like a snickerdoodle flavored stout. Like, this is amazing. It was one of my favorite beers of the festival.
Yeah.
Of that festival.
Of the Invitational, yeah.
Yeah. And I was kind of like, oh, this is awesome that Cigar City's here and still producing this great beer. And now it's like, I don't know if it's going to keep going. So we'll see. But yeah, speaking of Firestone Walker Invitational, we got tickets.
Another good example of, like, the scene is not going anywhere, because that sold out in like 10 minutes.
I mean, I think it's the best. I mean, not that I've been to all of them, but I think it's the best festival in the United States, honestly. And
well, I haven't gone.
Wakefest.
So I'm super excited.
Yeah, Jake Wakefield in Florida, they do Wakefest, which is also like a really cool invitational. They had to cancel this year. Really? For some reason, yeah, like last minute.
No demand, or?
I'm not sure what happened. Honestly, I don't know what happened. I had to look more into that. We could postscript that one. Okay. And figure out what happened there. But anyway, that was the other one that was sort of on my list. Like, I would love to go to that beer fest. Dark Lord Days, of course, is
yeah. Well, we gotta go to Fobab Festival of Barrel Aged Beers. Yeah. But I'm super excited for Firestone Invitational, because you went last year and you were sending me pictures, and I was getting so jealous, envious.
It's incredible. The lineup of beers and the fact that they have really good food and just unlimited access to the food. It's freaking hot. Hopefully, maybe we'll get a lucky day. Year. Yeah, maybe we'll get lucky. So that was the worst part. Trying to drink. I know. Worried about that. Beer barrel time from Side Project. Trying to drink that beer
in like 90 degrees. Yeah, not the ideal conditions.
It was terrible. But other than that, it's just a cool festival, and we're lucky to get tickets. Honestly, there are a lot of people in the comments of Firestone's Instagram being like, "This was terrible. We couldn't get tickets."
Yeah, I think the site lagged out and stuff. But I mean,
I think no matter what, like when everyone's trying to get tickets at the same time, just some people are going to get them, some people aren't.
There's not a lot of good ways to handle it. You can do like a lottery system, which I think is slightly more fair. But yeah, a lot of that stuff is really hard to pull off.
Yeah, I really...
Well, and
they do the best they can.
Well, and we got lucky because I am paranoid, so I like input everything, including my credit card information, and I was just sitting on like the enter screen, and I was texting you, I remember, and I was like, did yours go through? And you're like, it's spinning. And I
think a lot of people that were on their phones were the same way. Were you on a PC or were you on a phone?
I was on a computer.
Yeah. I
thought
it's a huge advantage.
I thought, screw it, I'm gonna send it, and if we get 2 sets of tickets, we'll figure it out. So I sent mine went through instantly, and you kind of said yours like timed out.
What was so weird was the page wasn't loading correctly. I had not put in the reason I was like so good. I was so okay with you going is I hadn't even put credit card information in yet. It hadn't popped up yet, and so but it was like still spinning. So as soon as you said you got him, I was like, close the window. I'm good. Like, I'm not going to get charged. No. I'm good. I haven't put anything in. So.
Yeah, I had it all queued up.
Yeah. Oh, I was,
That's funny.
I was like, we got him. We're good. So that was exciting. So I'm super excited about that. I'm so pumped.
Yeah, it's going to be
We have like a hotel within walking distance.
Yeah, we're doing it proper.
Oof.
Oh, I need to make us a food reservation though.
I don't know how great stuff is in Paso Robles.
I know.
It's kind of a small town.
We're gonna eat at the best restaurant. That's my other.
We went to, my wife and I, when we went last year, we went to like a steakhouse. I like tried to find like the best steakhouse, and it was a hotel steakhouse.
Oh, really?
And it was okay. It was fine, but it was.
All right, maybe we'll eat Chipotle.
But it is it's funny because it's such a small little town.
Yeah.
And this is one of the big events.
Yeah.
Of the year,
So
right?
they know about it.
So like hotels are crazy expensive. La Quinta Inn, right? It's like $500 a night or something.
It's insane.
Like, it's crazy. So you have got to get all that stuff early.
Way in advance. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's cool. It's super awesome, and the Firestone facility is cool. Like it'll be fun to like drive around there a little bit and check that out.
Yeah, and I want to go to their because unfortunately they didn't sell their beers online this year. I don't know what happened.
Oh.
I ended up getting that Parabola, but I got it from that bottle shop that I go to. Last year I was able to order like Parabola, the anniversary blend, and like I ordered like 6 or 7 bottles off their website and they shipped them to me. So I don't know if we get a minute, we might just run to the bottle shop because I'd love to pick up the 2023 or 2024 anniversary blend, whichever one's available.
Yeah.
That's always a good one.
It is good. I just secured some Parabola on Tavor.
Oh, nice.
I figured why not? It's gonna be the easiest way for me to get it. So
I had already drank the 2024 Parabola. Didn't like it as much, I love that honestly, beer. But it's still good. It's different this year. I can't remember. I think it's very like barrel and char roast forward, which I didn't love, but you'll like it. It still has it still has like black cherry in it. Yeah.
Nice.
It's a good beer. I mean, you can't really go wrong with it, right?
You can't.
But it's another one of those where I think they change it up a little bit every year. All right. Well. Do you want to talk about biotransformation?
Yeah, let's do it. Oh, I will have one more thought on the Bearded Iris trip.
Oh yeah.
In Nashville, I thought it was really cool. They were selling a pack, and it was called the Party Pack.
Nice.
And it was half hazy IPAs, half lagers. In like one big pack. And I just thought that was really cool. I told the guy, I was like, that's such a cool idea, right? Like if you're going to a party, has something for everyone.
Yep, keep
you don't have
happy.
to. Yeah. Anyway, I just thought that was cool. I do think that needs to be a new trend, like variety pack, like sell variety packs of stuff.
That would be amazing. Like pre-packaged 6-pack that's like half and half or even 6 one-ofs.
Why not?
That's a really good idea. They actually do that at my local bottle shop. I have 2 that I go to. One sells singles. The places that sell singles are the best. I actually don't end up going to the other places much because they don't singles and it annoys me. But what they do is they do like a hazy, a West Coast. They do like different like styles of beer where they basically sell 4 singles together. But you can't mix. You don't get to pick anything. You have to just grab that. Which is cool. I'd much rather buy that than...
Oh, 100%.
I just don't want a 4-pack of something I've never tried before. Especially when it's the tall cans. And it's going to cost... And it's like $20, you know what I mean? Yeah.
Yep.
I'm not going to do it.
Agreed.
Unless it's something I know that I love, but yeah.
So, anyway. Okay, let's do biotransformation so we can at least title the episode Biotransformation.
So, this is going to be pretty short.
That's okay. I think I don't think we need to devote a lot of time to this, but it's an interesting topic.
Yeah, it's really cool. It's kind of a hot topic. It's not something that's new. It's always been happening as part of life. And it's always been happening as part of the brewing process. But I think what people are realizing is that, well, here, I'll give you the definition. This is from an article on Brew Your Own, How to Brew Homebrew magazine. But they defined it as biotransformation is what happens when a living organism reacts or engages upon a molecule and transforms it or breaks it up into another shape. So you have, and what they're kind of talking about here is like the yeast and the hops. So the hops have a lot of oils in them. They have a lot of other basically compounds like thiols and terpenols that are gonna be picked up by your taste receptors, your taste buds, and I don't know. This barrel-aged unicorn tears is hit, Steven. We gotta do the technical stuff up front.
He's talking nonsense right now.
Yeah. But yeah.
Well, yeah. So the yeast is technically taking these like certain compounds and breaking them down into other compounds, which are come across as different flavors and stuff. My thought on this initially was it's kind of like when beer was being made before they actually understood the yeast was fermenting, right?
Example.
Like this is happening. This has always been happening in the process of making IPA, using yeast and hops together.
Yes. You're getting me back on track. Yes.
Right, it's understood now.
Well, now it's understood and they're trying to dial it in. So one of the things if you put in beer biotransformation, you're going to get is people trying to sell you different yeasts. Basically, people are doing a couple things where they're doing research into a specific yeast and a specific hop, and if there's a strong biotransformation between the two, because the yeast is going to make enzymes that are going to cleave. Thiols are locked up in other molecules where you need an enzyme to cleave off the thiol, and what they can do is it's kind of a double-edged sword because it can introduce off flavors that you don't want, but it could also unlock flavors from the hops that you can't get otherwise. And there's a couple things that people are trying to zero in on. I was one, getting new flavors that you can't get otherwise, and two, you could theoretically increase the yield of the flavor profile that you're getting from the hop. So if you had a really good biotransformation process, the yeast is doing a double roll, where it's creating the alcohol for you, but it's also upping the yield of the hops that you're using. So you can maybe use less hops. So it's really interesting. I think you're going to see, right now we're obviously seeing experimental hops being introduced. A lot of them have code names, or they're not in the market yet. I mean, it's hard to compete with Citra, right?
Yeah.
But
yeah, you'll see HBC 235.
They don't have fun names yet, but they're
yeah.
But what I think you're also going to see is that, and I mean, a lot of the breweries that are bigger are doing this, where they have catalogs of their yeast. They're archiving them and keeping track of what worked well with what. But you might see more designer yeasts and stuff like that have that nice biotransformation interplay with certain hop varieties. So it's really interesting.
Well, so you saw this with the phantasm powder.
Yes.
Once they realized, a lot of these flavors and aromas and stuff are coming from these thiol compounds. These grapes have a lot of thiols in their skins. They've concentrated those thiols from the skins of these grapes, and then they put them in the beers. And again, same thing. Are you, one, amping up the flavors and aromas, and two, can you use this in conjunction with the hops and maybe use, again, be more efficient, use fewer hops, because you can just add the thiol, add those compounds without adding the hops. So again, it's just another layer of that, of we can also, if we use this certain yeast with these certain hops, we can get these flavors, and you can do that in two ways. Can we be more efficient, or can we just amp up this beer? I feel even just over the last few years, the genetically modified yeast, they have a yeast that produces lactic acid now and sours beers. Really? Just with the yeast, you don't have to do even a kettle sour with bacteria. You just use your yeast, so if you can say, let's use, this genetically modified yeast works with this hop and unlocks flavors that we've never seen before. I don't know, it's really cool. I feel only certain breweries are at this level. Yeah. Though, right? I mean, your local small brewery is not doing this. So, but it's just one of those things where if you were gonna dial in your beer even more, it's another layer to that in the evolution of brewing IPAs, especially hazy IPAs, where the goal is to present these crazy bouquets of tropical flavors. And that's funny, from the podcast, I didn't quite, they were talking to these multiple different hazy
brewers,
IPA brewers, and it was really interesting how driven they were to make these beers as pale as possible, super pale, no malt influence whatsoever, and just showcase all hops.
Yeah,
and all. I mean, you can see how those breweries who are trying to like maximize that would be interested in anything they could do that. Use the right yeast, use, phantasm powder, use different concentrated hop products or whatever. Do everything they can to maximize.
Yeah, as a West Coast IPA drinker, I was horrified at this. They're like making a beer that's all yin and no yang. And it's like, it's the counter. Yeah. It's the balance between the forces that is the beauty. It's like, you can't just delete half of the force. Yeah.
Hey, they're super successful.
No, I mean, they're good too. I love them. I love those beers as well, but I still like the West Coast IPA better. At the end of the day, gun to head.
I agree.
If I could only drink one for the rest of my life, yeah.
I like clear beer.
Mm-hmm.
I do like hazy stuff. I really like hazy IPAs. It usually ends up being my go-to choice on some draft lists, depending on what restaurant I'm at or something, because I know at least it will be like the most quote-unquote hoppy thing on the on the beer list. But man, I've said this before. I go to Pint House Pizza. They are one of the best hazy IPA brewers. Electric Jellyfish is a fantastic beer. I actually was just there yesterday, and they had a cryogenic version and a double dry hopped version of Electric Jellyfish. Yeah, so that was kind of fun to drink those. But their Scorpion Disco, which is their like flagship West Coast, I love that beer. It is so good. It's so good. I like that profile, that clear profile with those amazing floral, dank, bitter, like grapefruit. That's it. It's the grapefruit and pine, I think, is like my favorite combination. So it's going to be hard to ever pull me away from that.
Yeah.
Well, which is funny because that was like I had a journey back to that, but
you came all the way home. That's really funny.
But once you really, really like hops and understand hops, I think it's natural to like the West Coast better.
Well, I mean, I told you my breakthrough was on I told a story before, but I hope they still do this, because it was like a transformational moment for me in craft beer, was at Sierra Nevada. And I wonder if they still do this, because I feel like so many people no, they probably still do, but long story long, they take you into a room and they put a hop cone in your hand.
Yeah, I think they still do.
And they say, crush it like this. You crush it and your hands get so sticky because all the oils. And then they say, go like this and just breathe in super deep. And that's it. Once you do that, it all clicks into place. You're like, oh, okay, I understand beer now. Yeah.
Unlocks the part of your brain.
And then you're like, where's the bathroom? Because I want to wash my hands. They're like so sticky. Yeah, but that's fun. So yeah, that's our non-brewer take on biotransformation. This is like advanced eldritch wizardry for like head brewers.
Yeah. Well, I mean, this is stuff that like
it's cutting edge, right?
And it doesn't show up on the beer can.
Yeah.
It just doesn't.
No.
Even, I remember Anchorage Brewing was putting a lot of the like. They were using Cosmic Punch yeast and Phantasm powder. They were putting that on their beers, and I think a lot of breweries just weren't even doing that. I mean, they weren't advertising. They're using it but not saying it, because it didn't mean that much to most people.
That makes sense.
Like, is the beer good or is it not?
Yeah.
I just don't see this as like marketed, but in the brewery world, like behind the scenes, that's what they're doing to, these are some of the things that they're doing to create these beers. So, as a casual beer drinker or whatever, like, it may not mean that much to you, but, just know, like, there's just so many layers. I was talking to one of the guys on one of my beer tours, and I was giving him the analogy of music, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, you have 12 notes to pick from, and how many millions of songs are there, right? Yeah. Like, and so at some point when you realize not only is it malt combinations and hop combinations and yeast combinations, it's essentially infinite, the beers you can make. And that's why it's just a fun hobby. I mean, it doesn't get old, and that's why I think there's so much innovation in that space, in the hop and yeast space, right? And the brewer at Bearded Iris, the guy I was talking to, he wanted me to drink their lager so badly. I mean, that was his thing. He just like, he's like, I do hops all day. Just drink the lager. Like, it's really good. And I was like, give me the double dry hopped tunnel vision.
You broke his heart, Steven.
He was a little disappointed. But that's where the innovation and new things are. I get that as a brewer, you want to drink the lager because that is sort of the epitome of making a beer that kind of tastes like nothing. Like, not that nothing, but is just very
well,
clean.
Didn't you say, I think you described it perfectly once. You said that there's like nowhere to hide.
Yeah.
Like you can't make any mistakes.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, you can't, in a light pale lager, you just can't, you have a little bit of esters come through, ruins the beer. A little bit of, too sweet or too bitter, it just doesn't work. And you just have to, it's a very, very difficult beer to brew. But like from a drinker standpoint, like from a person seeking like different flavors or complex beer, it's just not there.
Right.
So like I get it from his perspective. Oh, try this, like we do a really good job at brewing an awesome lager. Like I know, but I want to see how your double dry hopped Homestyle comes out.
That's really
how
cool.
well did you unlock the flavors of the Mosaic hop?
There you go.
So I will be like that probably forever. I don't know. We'll see. One day maybe I'll get. I think if you brew beer professionally, the lager is like you just want to go back to that and
showcase
drink something. Yeah. Because it's like you go home smelling hops, smelling like hops. You just want the cheese pizza.
That it is. It's the cheese pizza. Nowhere to hide on cheese pizza. It all comes down to your crust and your sauce. And your cheese, but there's nowhere to hide.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Is that an episode?
I think so. I think we've talked long enough.
All right, well, this has been episode 104 of Attenuation of Beer Podcast. My name is Jason, and I'm joined by my best friend since 8th grade, Steven.
That's me.
And we're saying cheers, and with any luck, we'll get back onto a more consistent schedule.
Yeah,
so.
And hopefully maybe you'll see some video of us. Check
out
YouTube.
Maybe. Yeah, we'll
check out the Attenuation Podcast YouTube channel.
Which doesn't even exist yet. Yeah. All right, cheers, buddy.
All right, cheers, man. Thanks for listening to this episode of Attenuation of Beer Podcast. Don't forget to subscribe to the podcast and follow us on Instagram or Facebook for lots of extra fun content. See you next episode. Cheers.